We're going to show you how we use Airsofts as movie weapons in film and television, and we're going to show you how we pulled off doing some practical muzzle flash. Now, I think we can all agree we prefer using conventional blank gunfire, but on occasion we have to use all Airsofts. We use a combination of green gas and CO2. Now, the green gas requires filling it up kind of like a butane lighter. It's a mixture of propane and silicone to keep the magazine lubricated.
So this is one of our CO2 1911 Airsofts. As you can see, there's a CO2 cartridge in here in the magazine. This normally holds airsoft BBs, but for our practices, we don't use them. So this goes in here. Just like a real gun, when this is empty, when you fire it, it will close open like this. So for us to prevent that, there's a spring in here. So we normally will just pop that out. And now, we have a fire at will.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how we clear guns on set. What that means, anytime we bring a weapon onto set, we have to get an assistant director to visually confirm that this is a cleared weapon. It's not loaded. So, in the case of an airsoft or a real gun, basically, we would make sure the magazine is out of the gun. We would make sure that the slide is locked open. Usually we carry flashlights. We put them at the end of the barrel, and then we stick our finger in the barrel. And that shows that there's absolutely nothing in the barrel. There's nothing caught, there's no projectile in there. Sometimes we also would put the flashlight underneath, show you that way. Then if it's an airsoft, typically I will show the magazine. This is an airsoft. There's a CO2 cartridge. This is not a real gun. There's no bullet up here. There's no BBs in here. Then I will load the gun, and if they were gonna fire on camera and there was a CO2 cartridge in it, I would fire it a couple times. Not only would I do this with the assistant director, I would also do this with the actor who is firing the gun or holding the gun. And if that gun is being used, if it's being pointed at someone, I would do the same process with the actor who the gun is being pointed at. Basically, the methodology of how to clear any automatic is the same. The only other strange thing is occasionally we have revolvers, and that's a situation where you have to check the rounds because you can see them in the chamber. So in this case, it's an airsoft, so this is where the BBs would be held. You can see that they're empty, and once again, you can see that there's nothing in the barrel. It's our job to communicate with the AD. It's the AD's job to communicate with the crew, and then both of us to communicate with the actor. That's the protocol.
One disadvantage you have with Airsofts is you don't get much recoil at all. That's where the pressure from pushing the bullet out would push against you. With Airsofts, you kind of have to fake it, or sometimes your actor will not be able to comprehend it. They'll do. Once you realize they're not going to get it, you can just tell them, don't do it. Typically, when it comes to Airsofts, we'll rely on post-production to add in muzzle flash in post. Like that. If it's not possible for you to use VFX muzzle flash, we did come up with an alternative.
So with the adoption of more airsoft being used on film sets, we found these cool little tracer units that can actually simulate a muzzle flash. And the way it works is typically when a BB goes through the airsoft, it triggers the light. Every time it passes, it's hitting the light. Obviously, we can't be shooting real BBs out of it, so we had to come up with a way to put something in there to trigger that light. So for example, in this, here's an example of just a little rig that we've put inside, and it's just a doubled over piece of electrical tape that then is taped onto the back of our thing. Put it on there, and the key is to kind of have this not go too far, but then also when it, the air hits it, this moves, triggering the light. To be able to simulate just, and put it on here, put it on here. And one cool thing we discovered when doing this is when you have a full magazine of green gas or CO2, it's giving us some initial vapor that's coming out and adding to the effect. Fake muzzle flash!
Now you can safely fire at an actor. I think we pretty much covered it. Poppy, you think we peppered the audience with enough information?
I think it's a loaded question, Scott.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
I'm going out with a bang.